Hi and welcome back. We all know that cutting with a sharp knife makes the job easier, but are you always looking to sharpen your sales skills? How does one even begin? How about Cutco? I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Cutco brand. Their most widely known product is knives, but they offer other kitchen accessories as well. The most important takeaway here is not their products, but their sales approach. A salesman from Cutco schedules an appointment and comes to your house. Not quite door to door, but not far off. So you're thinking, what can I learn from a Cutco salesman? At least that was my initial thought when my wife informed me she had agreed to a presentation on Cutco with their salesman, Zach. I was so busy initially that I didn't have any plans to sit in on the presentation. But after further reflection, I thought, wait a minute. Cutco is known to train their salespeople really well, so why not sit in to see how this guy does? Following are some excerpts from our meeting. The presentation. So to start, Zach is late, but he did call my wife to let her know. He arrives, and as promised, since we already own some Cutco knives, Zach begins by following up on his promise to professionally sharpen our existing knives. He was very polished, and while working, he delivered parts of his sales script with pieces of his personal story woven in. The transition was amazing, and it was obvious he had practiced and delivered this talk many times before. He talked about how he came to be in Knoxville, how long he had been here, about his family, and what he hoped to accomplish. By the time he was done, we felt like we were a part of his story, which is exactly what he wanted and what you should want from your clients as well. Then on to the presentation. How much cooking do you do? He asked. Well, I'm sure you entertain plenty with this beautiful home. Look at our cheese cutter. This is what Pat bought, our sister-in-law who referred us. And then he goes on to tell us, although this is what most people buy. In a short presentation, all of the above was strategically woven in. Remember, he had already drawn us in like we were old friends. He was just telling stories too. Then he asked about how much cooking we do, drawing more client information with a simple question so he would know which direction to take his presentation. I feel sure if we had said, well, very little cooking, there would have been a completely different track to his presentation. Are your presentations prepared to change course based on the client's response to a single question? He compliments our home, drawing us further into his story. He tells us what our sister-in-law liked, knowing that somebody close to us thought enough of this product to purchase it. Well, surely we would want one as well. Since selling one cheese knife wouldn't really make his goal for the day, he was also sure to let us know what most people buy. People want to own items that other people have. Ending the presentation. Unfortunately for Zach, we had already decided that nothing would be purchased, largely due to the fact that our youngest child was getting married and thousands of dollars had already been spent on that event, and buying some more knives was not really in the budget. Zach told us he certainly understood, but there was a way you could get all of this for free, he says. We only needed to provide him with 500 referrals. In case you didn't know, this is how Zach keeps his ball rolling or keeps his funnel full of new clients. He always asks for referrals, but I'm sure you do as well, right? Then, in a more serious tone, he tells us what we can get, again for free, for 5 referrals, and then for 10 referrals. Whoa, wow! He started at 500 and now I only have to do 5? Start big and then lessen your request, making compliance from your customer easier. He offers us something of value to keep his funnel full of referrals. He also requests that we write down the referral's name and contact info. The act of us writing it down for him, again, makes us part of the story. He's looking down the road. Just because we didn't buy today doesn't mean we won't buy in the future, and he wants us committed to buying from him. We had also previously decided not to throw our friends under the bus to get a free gift, but most people will. My wife almost caved at this point, but I told Zach that we would not be providing referrals for him, and I loved his response. He looked me in the eye and said, "Ken, you have quite a wall built up there," in a very semi-serious voice, as to not make me mad. And he quickly followed with, "Have you previously had a bad experience with a salesperson, or from Cutco specifically?" He was trying to break down any barriers and get his referrals. It was a great sales technique. Again, unfortunately for Zach, he didn't know that I am a sales trainer. I use and teach all of the techniques he was using. I simply told him that I value my close friendships more than a free set of steak knives. He really wasn't prepared for this answer, but he did handle it like a pro. He kept his emotions in check. He knew that his time was up and neither a sale or a referral was in his future for this call. He packed up and pleasantly talked about how great it was to meet us, made sure we had his card, and asked us to promise that he would be our guy if we wanted any Cutco items in the future. We told Zach if we wanted Cutco, he was absolutely our guy. He finally got something he was looking for. He didn't make a sale, and he didn't get a referral, but he did get a small commitment, and that's a first step in every single sales process. The takeaway, even if you don't make a sale today, don't burn any bridges for the future. Here are a few final thoughts. You're here reading or listening to this post because you are special. You're constantly trying to improve. And while I love helping you reach your full sales potential along with work-life balance, there are learning opportunities every day. You just have to be looking for them. Even though you're a sales professional, you're also a customer many times a day. From the convenience store to the car dealership, you have the opportunity to study other salespeople. Most will be really bad, but some, like Zach, will be really, really good. You can learn from both, so please don't miss out on the opportunity to be your best. Leave me a comment on what you learned today and who you learned it from, or jump over to the Facebook group and join in the conversation at facebook.com/salesexpedition. And don't miss out, subscribe to salesexpedition.com so you're notified when new content is available for you. Thank you so much for being here today, and until next time, have a fantastic day.